I think it's safe to say that the food crisis is over. Last year, we produced 84,214 units of food, and we consumed 74,404 units of food. So we had a surplus of just under 10,000 units, which is absolutely fantastic, and that is something that I want to keep up and that I want to continue with into the future. The problem is that we don't have a lot of laborers. We have 3 right now, and we have a single builder. So I've got the game running at 2 times normal speed. Usually it's running at 10 times, but it's running at 2 times because we need to grow the population a little bit. So there's a few things that I want to do to make that happen. And my thinking is that I'm actually going to pause and I'm going to build a bunch of houses. And I'm also going to be hoping to see some nomads in the not too distant future. And I'm going to say that my limit on nomads is going to be 75. If we can get 75 nomads, I think we'll be okay. Because while the food thing has been sorted out, we are probably going to run into some issues with things like tools, which is another thing that we're going to have to try and sort out. So what I'm going to do is come into this space and I'm going to build a bunch more houses. And I'm going to stick with wooden houses for the time being because we're already getting a little bit low on iron. We only have 17, which is kind of a major issue. And when it comes to stone houses, they actually need some iron. So we're going to try and be careful about this. We're going to try and not use way too much iron in this process. Going to do 2 more houses right there as well. Gonna do a house right here, and I'm thinking we'll do one of these guys, maybe this one right next to the fishing hut, or this one I suppose will do the job. And then down this way we have a bit of room as well, so we'll go for one of these sort of L-shaped ones. Down here we have some space as well, so we'll go for this guy, and that is going to be a bunch more housing in this space. But I also want to come down here and get a few houses as well, and this is somewhere that I might go for some of the stone houses, just because that's pretty much what we've built in this entire space already. So we'll go for this guy, and we'll go for, I'm thinking we'll just do 2 of them right there, and that'll be totally fine. And if we check this market, we actually have a pretty good radius out here. So I'm going to pin this so that the radius is always visible. And that's something that was pointed out in the comments in the last episode. Thank you so much to everybody that said that that is a thing you can do, so you can always see this radius. And I think what we'll do is just come over here and do a bunch of these guys. And I think we'll also fill in this space right here with just a few more houses as well. I'm also not 100% sure that I had those be the same design. So let me just double check that we're going for this one. So you right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this one. Can I get a 4th one? I cannot. That's a bit of a shame. Can't get it back there either. I could get one in here, but I'm not really in that much of a rush to do it. And honestly, what is that? 7, 8, 9 new houses in this space. That's not bad. We could get a couple down here as well, which might not be a terrible idea. I think these guys, I'm going to go for stone on these ones just because it is sort of going to match. This one's also set back from the path a little bit, so it lines up nicely with this guy. So we'll go for this, and we'll go for... I like this one a lot, but unfortunately, because of the fishing dock, we can't do it. Can I get something like this guy? They sort of line up kind of interestingly. I think that's what we'll go for. And we'll just bring ourselves a little bit of path down here. And I'm wondering, can I bring a path sort of around behind these guys? Absolutely not. So we'll just go with this. I can probably do some stockpile space in here. I absolutely can't. Never mind. Can I do it back here? I can do a little stockpile, which isn't too bad. And we'll do a little stockpile just across here as well. We'll do a little 2x10. And I guess, oh, unfortunately, I can't get one there. All right, we'll do a little 2x10 stockpile there. That's totally fine, just to fill in the space. And I want to say that that's probably going to be enough housing for this area as well. And so if we head to the south from our town hall, I was thinking that today we could get started with a market down here and a bunch of farms out here. But I really want to lock in our resources. So I'm going to change some of the resource limits. Right now we're limited to 3,000 fuel. I'm going to bring that up to 4,000 because right now we're sitting on 3,400 firewood. So we'll bring that up to 4,000, which is going to be perfect. That should be more than enough to see us through any winter. And I'm going to bring the number of tools from 500 down to 300 right there, because I don't think we need 500. I don't think we need to be consuming that much iron. But when it comes to tools across the board, we need more miners. We have 56. We can have 75. I want to get more of them. And I also want to start working towards actually using steel tools. I'm also a little bit lost here. This is what I'm looking for. The reason I want to use steel tools, and I'm tempted to use these blacksmiths because there is a coal mine right here. The reason I want to use steel tools is because they last longer, so we don't need to replace them as often. So what I'm going to try is swapping out this one blacksmith, maybe these two actually, to start producing steel tools, because the coal mine is right here. That seems like a good place for it. So these guys, you know, they've got an iron supply from over this way, and I'm pretty sure we have other mines as well. I know we have the one on this side over by the town. So we have a decent enough supply of iron. If a merchant comes by, we have a merchant right now. If a merchant has any iron, I think we'll buy it as well. Although this guy does actually have a supply of steel tools. So let me go ahead and buy 100 of those. That'll actually be really good for us. Did we ever get the pumpkin seeds? That's a good, we did, and I haven't done anything with those yet. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let me buy those steel tools. It's only going to be $1,000 for those. So if I go and do, let's see, 25 of these guys, it's 375. 100 of these guys is 1,500. So I probably want to do 75. 1125. What about 70? Is that? So I'm looking to do 68. Should be 1,020. 67 is overpaying by 5. So we'll make that trade. And so that's going to put us in a good spot. That's 100 steel tools that we wouldn't otherwise have. That's 100 steel tools for people to start using, and it means that they won't need to replace them quite as often. So that is absolutely a good thing. Now, I mentioned coming down here. I'm not going to be doing that today. Like I was saying, I want to lock everything in. I want to make sure we have enough resources. I want to make sure we have enough people. And so something I think I will do is come down into this space and build a bunch of farms, because I've been kind of staying away from building here, and it's largely because of this forester. But now that I can pin this and constantly see, you know, what the radius is for this forester, I can get a really nice amount of farms down here. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but definitely a good number of farms. So I'm going to bring a path the entire, oh, that fits perfectly down to there. I'm going to come right down to there. I'm going to bring a path right off of here as well. And I'm going to go straight down with this one as well, right to about there. And I want to see, so right about there is going to be the limit on where I can do my farms. So this space here is absolutely perfect for it. And what we can also do is build ourselves some barns around here. So I could build a little barn, say, right about there. In fact, I'm going to build it a little bit further down, and I'll show you exactly why I'm going to do that in just a second. But what I'm going to do is surround that barn the way we always do with some little paths like this. And I'm also going to do a barn over on this side so that we have one relatively close to any farms on this side. So this is going to go right about here. And we'll probably have another one down this way, maybe one down this way. But the reason I wanted this one in this spot is because I can also pin this guy, and now I can see the radius for both of them. And that's good, because I'm thinking that we could probably do a little fishing dock right about here. And that's just going to be a little bit of bonus fish coming in from that dock. It has a barn right next to it as well, which is perfect. So we'll get that going, and it will be another source of food on top of the farms down here. And honestly, do I want to do farms, or do I want to do ranches, or, well, pastures or orchards? I want to do farms, I think. I think we'll do farm fields, and I think we'll do pumpkins, because I don't think we've toyed around with those too much. So if we go to this corner, we could just do some giant 15 by 15 fields. I really like my 10 by 15 fields. Again, I don't know if there's any benefit to doing 10 by 15. I don't know if, 15 by 15 is more efficient. I just like the 10 by 15s. And looking at the numbers here, it was almost perfect. We can do a 9 by 15 right there, and that's totally fine. And that's going to be 5 more fields, which is not bad. That's not bad at all. And if I want to, I can come down here and do another pasture, and we can go up to, can I do a 20 by 20? I absolutely can. That's beautiful. So we'll do a pasture right there. It's got a, what is it? A barn right next to it. We're going to barn down here, and it's got all this space as well. So if I wanted to, I could do more forestry out here. I don't think I'm gonna. I think what I'm more inclined to do, honestly, is see if I can get a tunnel through here. And I'm going to say that it's probably unlikely that it's going to let me do it. Can I do it here? Ooh. Oh, we absolutely can tunnel through here. Can I do this one? No. Can I do this one? That's not bad. That's a lot of stone that it's going to use to build that. But I'm kind of inclined to say that we go for it. I'm thinking we need a tunnel here. So, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's build it. That's such a good connection, especially since a lot of the people that might work down here might live up here. And also, if I tunnel through here, I can get a couple of little houses on this side of the mountain that are going to be in the radius of that market. And that's kind of huge on its own. So this is going to be a really good space for my workers. So we'll get this little path right here. This is going to come straight through to, I want to say here. And I'm just going to bring this path straight down. My pasture ends right about there. So bring this one straight over. We'll link those together. And on this side of the pasture, can I bring this straight across? I absolutely can. This is going to be such a good area for farming and agriculture and just production in general. This little space is going to be for houses. And you know what? I mean, we've already got a bunch of houses that need to be built. We're going to get even more. We are absolutely going to get even more of them. And so now we have a lot of things placed here. We have 2 pastures. We have a bunch of crop fields there. We have a bunch of crop fields across here. We have some barns down this way. We have a barn up here. We have a bunch of stockpiles as well. There's a lot of stuff that's going to need built here. We also have access to this river, which I'm 100% going to use to get more fishing over here. But the problem, like I've said from the get-go today, is that we just don't really have enough people. So I've sped things up to ×5 speed, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off another one of the schools, which gives us a bunch of laborers. I don't like doing that, but it's kind of all we can do. We don't really have that many kids that are just becoming laborers, so I kind of need to brute force it a little bit. And I really don't want to start losing, you know, farmers and fishermen. We're actually short 4 fishermen at the moment, so we'll go ahead and bring that number up a little bit just to make sure that we're doing okay. And my goal with all of this, obviously the population's going to grow. Obviously, we're going to be consuming more food. And obviously, if and when I bring in some nomads, we're going to be consuming more food on top of that. So by building all of these farms, my hope is that we can go ahead and be like, hey, we've brought in all these people. Ooh, I didn't realize that these houses were outside of that range. Let me just pin you for a second. Can I do some houses here? I absolutely can. Now, I think that's maybe going to be a good idea. Just getting some of these houses here instead of down here. I want them to be within the radius of that market. That is kind of important to me. So I'm going to cancel this construction project. I'm going to cancel this little bit of road here as well. And I just want to see if I can get another house right at the end there. Is that going to be an option? It absolutely is. So we're going to do that just because it's roughly in range. I can bring a little path down here. I could get more houses in this space, but honestly, we're just going to do a stockpile because I think that probably makes a little bit more sense. So we'll do one there and we'll do one there. And that's a lot of storage space. You know, we've got the barn, we've got the stockpiles, we've got another stockpile here. That's more than enough for this area. But it does mean that these guys are covered by that market, and I do think that's important. So that's kind of the goal, really, is get a bunch of people in here. I want to max out the amount of food that we have. That's sort of my goal here. I want to have 100,000 food in storage, and then we can go and build this sort of mega project down here with, you know, a market in the middle, another chapel, a giant cemetery, a bunch of fishing down here, a bunch of farming over here. You know, it's going to be important to have a massive amount of food. It's going to be important to have a massive number of tools and clothes. And honestly, clothing is, I mean, it's okay, but it's probably going to struggle as well. And then, of course, firewood. That's another big deal that we're going to have to well, deal with. So we need to stay on top of everything. And I'm kind of getting into the point where I want to future-proof things, right? So we're trying to deal with things before they become issues. So hopefully we can do that. If we look up this way, we do have a lot of these guys already, you know, ready to go in the sense that they just need to be constructed. But keep in mind, we only have one builder and we could have up to 126 of them. So construction's going to take some time, and that's okay. Oh, now this is good. We have nomads, but how many nomads? 91. I said my limit was 75. I said my limit was 75, man. Why you got to do this to me? But I'm doing it. We've got 55 laborers now. That's actually kind of huge. You don't have any tools. That's fine. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to dismiss you. I'm immediately going to say that we're going to go straight to 75 miners. That I think is going to be really important. I'm also going to say that we'll go to 10 builders to try and get things moving a little bit quicker. I don't think we need more stone cutters. Traders we're fine with. Vendors I'm going to bring up to 50 because we want to make sure everything gets around. That leaves me with 18 laborers, which actually is a lot less than I was hoping for, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get a second school opened up. We have 114 kids. We do have a farm down here, but it's late spring, so I'm not really in any rush to get those going. And obviously all the housing construction going on everywhere, these guys will have places to live in time. It's just going to take some time, which is totally fine by me. Now, oh man, that is going to be a bit rough. I'm hoping that putting these guys into the mines is going to work out for us, but I will say it might not be a terrible idea to get our hands on another blacksmith. I'm going to unpause the game because it is just running at 2 times speed. I'm a little worried about the amount of coal that we have. I will say that we only have 15% remaining here, so we might want to look into getting ourselves another mine, which, I mean, what are you doing? You're doing iron as well. Can I get a mine in here? Do we have the space for it in any of this space? I don't know that we do. I could probably get it in here if I didn't have those houses. Yeah, that's frustrating. Okay, what about over here? Is this a spot that's going to be good for it? Yes, actually. Okay, I'm kind of willing to allow that. It's not a terrible spot for it. It's a little further away from my blacksmith than I'd like, so we might want to get some of those guys out here, but it'll do for the time being. So what we'll do is get some paths in there. I'm not going to prioritize anything about the mine, but what I think I will do is go and prioritize these farms. I'm going to prioritize, actually, I'm just going to prioritize those farms, because if I prioritize too much, I might as well not prioritize anything. Now, as we tick over into early spring of 78, we have a bunch of these fields pretty much ready to go. We have 30 laborers, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to check a little something. Last year's production was 87,400, consumption was 76,000. So it's not bad. That's keeping in mind that we had 90 something nomads come in. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to say that these fields over here, I'm going to do beans in all of these fields because these are a little bit further away from where people are living. So having something that grows quickly and gets harvested early means that they're going to have more, you know, obviously they have a little bit more travel time to get here. So they have more time to harvest. And then these fields over here, I'm going to say these are going to be pumpkins. I think this is where we go for the pumpkins. And I think that's going to be great. Now, we currently need 196 farmers. If I go 196 right there, it leaves me 13 laborers, which honestly, that's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. I am back down to just a single school because I want to make sure that we do in fact have, you know, enough laborers for everything, but this should be good. And my goal, like I said, is to max out the amount of food that we have in storage. We also had a merchant come by at one point. I bought, I think, 200 iron from him. So we're up to 272 iron in storage, which is fantastic. That's going to keep us going for a little bit. And if I look at this mine, we're down to 13%. So building another one down here, honestly, probably a good idea. Probably for the best to get this guy going. And then when it comes to everything else, really, we're kind of just waiting on my builders getting to everything. There's still a need for 68 of them. There's still only 10 of them. So it's going to take some time, but I am kind of confident about this. And my confidence has at times been misplaced, but I like to think that trying to future-proof things with a bunch more food than we actually need, I like to think that's a good thing. I like to think that makes sense. So here's hoping that it is in fact a good thing and that it does in fact make sense. I'm also going to prioritize this tunnel because I realize it's been sat there for a while not getting built, and building it would speed things up quite nicely down here. So if we could do that, that'd be swell is what that would be. I mean, we need this barn as well. We need this barn too. In fact, we need a lot of things down here, but the tunnel is definitely up there in terms of priorities. And there we go. Oh, you guys are working on that so quickly. That's absolutely fantastic. If we can get this going, like I said, it's going to speed things up. People can get through here so much quicker. And there it is. Not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm so excited to see people going back and forth through here. I also love that these guys are just inside that market range. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely adore it. You know, I gotta say, this space has turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm really pleased with just how much we've gotten in here. I've got a couple more fields down here as well. Another barn this way. We've got these fishing docks coming together. We have 29,000 food here in the middle of summer. And if we look at last year, we did do 89,000 production. We did have 81,500 consumption. So it has gone up quite a bit. But that is also to be expected given the number of nomads that come in the year prior, and also the number of kids that have been born since then. But that's okay. We still have a surplus of about 8,000, and that's not factoring in the pumpkins really, because none of these pumpkin fields managed to fully grow by the time the harvest came around last year, or by the time the snow came around. So we are hopefully going to be crossing the 90,000 food threshold in terms of production this year. I would like to see our storage get up to maybe 50,000. We still have, I mean, we're coming up on 40,000 here in late summer. So that's not too bad. We also just got a bunch of laborers. That's all the kids that were born a couple of years ago just became laborers. So what we'll do is go up to 214 right there. It leaves us 8 laborers, but it means that all of the farms are now full. We do have need for a bunch more fishermen. That is unfortunately going to have to wait, because again, we need more laborers to do that. But it's early autumn. We have some pumpkins now getting harvested, which is beautiful news. We're at 41,000-ish food right now. So I'm going to be curious to see how it goes. Having all these barns nearby means that everything gets thrown into storage super, super quickly. Having 50 out of 84 vendors means that they can go around and grab stuff for the markets as well. So I would be surprised if we don't pass 90,000 produced food this year. I'd be disappointed too, to be quite honest. I'd be a little disappointed. We are looking like we're about to pass 50,000 in storage though, which is really cool. Assuming, you know, snow doesn't come through here and absolutely ruin everything, which is definitely a possibility. Struggled to get to 49. There we go. 50,000 food in storage. Good Lord. That is kind of wild. And there's the snow to start killing all my pumpkins. These guys are they're so susceptible to the cold temperatures. It's a bit rough, but apparently the yield from a pumpkin is higher per tile than anything else. The reason beans are so good is just because they're quick to grow and quick to harvest. So let's have a look at you. What do you got for me? Iron, logs, wool coats. We're actually doing okay on iron, but to be honest, I think I am just going to grab more because there doesn't really seem to be any harm in doing that. And then I think if I remember right, my number trading here is 67. I overpay by 5. So we'll make that trade. That's going to give me over 500 iron in storage, which is absolutely perfect. We have this mine down here working on iron at the moment. I'm actually going to swap you out for coal. There are 12 people working in there, which is interesting. Do we have people working up here? We do. There's only 8% left there though. So I guess we can go up to 90 miners. There's probably no point since the other mine just north of here is going to be closing in the not too distant future. So we'll see how things go. And I suppose at this point, I just need a merchant to come by with chickens because that's what I want to put in these fields. We can get 66 there. We can get 66 there. That would be kind of huge. I think a bunch of chickens down here would be amazing and hopefully would be a fantastic source of, you know, additional food. Now, how many fishermen do we need? 160. Good Lord. That's a lot. We've got these fishing docks here. We got this one over here. Honestly, I hate to say it. I sound like a broken record, but I love how this is. I think this is such a good little use of space. I'm really pleased that it seems like all the construction projects are done as well. So I'm going to get rid of most of the builders. We'll go down to like 2 of them because I think we do have some roads that still need to be put in here. But this is pretty good. I would almost be tempted to say that this road coming down here probably needs to be stone because that's a pretty long road. Same with this one going across, honestly. We might just want to do some stone roads around here just to get people moving that little bit quicker. So let's go for it. It's a lot of stone. It's 111 stone. Good Lord. But we'll go for it. We'll upgrade this guy as well. And I think we can maybe do... This one hasn't actually been put in yet. So we'll use a stone road right there. And that's probably enough. I don't think we need to go any further than that. And so looking at the numbers, actually last year was only about 86,000 in production, almost 82,000 in consumption. So that's actually worrying. I don't love that. That's somehow less. Somehow we had less food production. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know. That's definitely a bit of a worrying number, but I'm sure it's just an anomaly. You know, if 86,000? Yeah, if 86,000 is a bad year, then a good year is going to be amazing. Although, speaking of bad years and bad decisions, 94 nomads. Oh, I'm going to say no. I would love to have another 50 laborers right now because I could put them to work in the markets, in the mines, in the quarries and all that good stuff. I could get them out working as, you know, extra blacksmiths or whatever, really. Woodcutters, foresters, doesn't matter. They could be anything, but I just want to make sure that I'm making good decisions. And I think bringing in another 94 nomads right now would be a bad decision. So I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to not have Thatcham just crash and burn. That's that's the goal here. That's the plan. That's the hope for good old Thatcham. And in fairness, it's the height of summer and we almost have 30,000 food in storage still. So we're doing okay there. Coal is actually climbing really nicely. So I would almost be tempted to say that we could probably swap out another one of these blacksmiths for steel tools. So let's go for, do we have one in the middle here anywhere? We do. So you are going to start doing steel. And that's going to be 3 of my blacksmiths working on steel tools. And I'm gradually just going to see if I can pivot towards steel tools for all of them. I think a gradual process for that is absolutely the way to go. Also, it's late summer and none of the beans are getting harvested. That's actually not good. That's actually a problem. So these fields, I think the farmers for these fields are living so far away that they are remarkably slow at getting there. So that's something we might want to deal with. Now do you have what I'm looking for? Do you have chickens? No. Damn. That's one of these days, man. One of these days he's going to have chickens. It's going to be a great time. Oh, these pumpkins they really aren't growing either. Okay. I'm starting to think that the production down here might just be really bad. So if I pin you for a second and I start cycling through these workers. So this is one of the farmers that works in that particular field. He lives there. So that's fine. You live, you live a little bit of a distance away. So you live up by the graveyards there. And the other one lives there. So there are some of them living nearby, which is fair enough. if I go to this field and I pin it, where are you living? That's my question. So you live there. You're living... Oh, yeah, you live so far away. Yeah, some of these guys are living... You know, they're working, say, here and living up here. That is a massive commute for these guys. So we might want to look at getting a market in here. It might almost be worth getting rid of one of these pastures, replacing it with a market and getting more houses in there so that we can, you know, reliably have people living down this way. Because these, you know, we're limited at the moment with this market here. Obviously, the goal is to have them living in the range of it. But I want to say getting rid of the pasture might be the call. And if I build a market here, I can get houses kind of nicely around it. Or if I build it there, we can get some houses down this way as well. I think that's probably the way to go, to be honest. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. I don't love it, but I think it's the right call. I think getting rid of this is the right call. I think getting some extra houses in there is the right call. So let's very quickly get that done. And let's just get ourselves a market right about there. We'll get ourselves some paths around this thing the way we always do, just like that. I think we can also probably get a decent number of houses in here. Nothing too crazy, but just a nice little number of houses. I think we'll go for these guys just because they look kind of interesting. So we'll do this. We'll do 3 more up here as well. And I'm hoping 6 houses is going to be enough because I don't think I can get any more behind them, which is a little bit unfortunate. I could get some in here if I wanted to, which I don't hate the idea of doing, but I'm going to stick with symmetry on this one because it's just going to look a little bit better. And it also gives me a few paths through there. And interesting fact about me and symmetry, I recently posted a screenshot of my first City Skylines 2 city to the City Skylines subreddit. And one of the comments on that was, oh, yay. The content, it was something like, oh, yay, content from the guy that has to have everything symmetrical. I didn't realize that that was my reputation with City Skylines, but apparently it is. I like to have everything symmetrical, which, to be fair, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Honestly, it's fair enough. But this should be good. That'll mean that this market means I can probably get more houses in here as well. But it means that these guys are covered by 2 markets. These guys are covered by this market. And actually, I think we will go ahead and say that those stockpiles can go. We'll get more houses in there, and that'll be good. We also had a trader. Do you have chickens? You do. Give me 3 of those, please. That'll be 1,200. Actually, 4 of them. Can I do 6 of them for 24? Can I do 7 of them for 28? And if I do 200 here, I'm overpaying by 200 units. If I do 190, I'm overpaying by 50. So 188 is overpaying by 20. 187 is overpaying by 5. We'll make that trade, and those chickens should start heading down this way, which is absolutely fantastic. That's absolutely what we want. So let me prioritize clearing out this stockpile. Let me go ahead and just get a few more houses up here. I will say it's a little risky doing all these houses, but I do think it's going to be worth it. I do think it's going to be for the best. I think having this market is going to be huge. And it also means that I can put some houses down this way as well. So having all of these guys living nearby the farms, it's only going to be good. It also looks like this year is a much better harvest for this new space. So all in all, I think I'm making the right decision. I'm also thinking we can finally get these little houses in here. So we'll just build all of you guys, and that's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And now everything is built. We only have 2 laborers. We have 1 person assigned as a builder, but all of these houses have fishermen and farmers and woodcutters, and that's good. We've got vendors as well, of course, but I've managed to max out the number of fishermen. I've maxed out the number of farmers. We have some chickens, which is great news. It is spring, and we have 47,000 food. If we look in here, production last year was 91,000. Consumption was 84. And it's only going to be better now that all of the farmers are living relatively close to where they work, or at least I assume they are. Most of them are. So this is going to put us into a spot where we will hopefully end up with enough food to sustain us for a very long time. I will say, tools production does still have me a little bit concerned. I don't want to be buying iron all the time, so hopefully we can do something about that. Obviously, the goal is to switch over to steel tools as quickly as possible, and having the currently to, ooh, you're done actually. So we only have one iron mine. We'll get rid of this one, which is totally fine. We knew that was coming. Only having the one iron mine might prove to be, coal mine might prove to be a little bit problematic. So we might want to get a second one of these guys. And I mean, getting a second one of these guys is hopefully doable. I would really like to get one here. I don't think it's going to let me do that, unfortunately. It absolutely is not. Can I get it this way around? Probably not. I could get it in there, but we can't because there's things there. And we have mountains down here. We do. So I can probably get one here. Yeah. So we can get a coal mine down there. Honestly, might not be a bad idea to just go ahead and build that sooner than later. It is also within range of this market, so they can go and collect stuff for it, which I think is probably for the best. So what we'll do is just get ourselves a little section of path that comes down past this guy. So right about there, we can do, I'm going to say, just a little bit of stockpile as well. So let's just go for, what size is this path? So I want to go from here to there. It's 12. So we'll do 3 by 6, and we'll do 3 by 6 right there as well. And that should be totally fine. We can surround this with a little section of path like so, and we'll bring ourselves a little stretch of path over here and connect these guys together. A little something like that. A little something like that. And maybe this can be a stockpile as well. This can actually come down and sort of around as well, giving us some weird spaces in here. But this could be another farm, which is absolutely perfect. It also gives us a stretch for more water, which is also perfect. And I'm kind of okay with that. Obviously, the goal is going to be to fill up all of the mining needs, all the stone cutting needs, all of that good stuff. But this, for now, is absolutely perfect. So I think we'll go ahead and leave it there for today. We've managed to solve most of the problems. We're going to sort of lock it in and make sure everything's okay in the next episode. We'll get that, get the tools production sorted. And hopefully that means that in the next episode, we can go ahead and start work on this space out here. This is going to be huge in the sense that this is going to be a massive boost to the population. My goal, or my plan, is to put a market right about there and just surround everything left, right, and bottom with houses. And the top end of things, we'll do a chapel, we'll do a graveyard, we'll do hospitals, blacksmiths, all the service stuff will be at the top end here. And then obviously, you know, fishing down this way, fishing over this way, a bunch of farms out here to keep it, you know, sustainable. But that's sort of the goal. I'm also wondering what the population is right now. Where are we at? 832. I think we could maybe pass 1,000 people in that next episode. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we could do it. I also think I'm going to take a chance and go for 2 teachers and see if we can't maybe fill the schools a little bit sooner than later. But either way, like I said, we're going to leave it there for today. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.